Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my house, welcome to my yard, welcome to my grill. Full pork today. Here we go. 8 pounds in the package.
When you take the meat out of packaging, you want to score the fatty side. What that's going to allow is it's going to allow that rub to really kind of penetrate that fat. And the fat is where a lot of the flavor comes from. I just trim off some of the really big extra, wipe it down with paper towel, and at that point in time, once you get all that moisture off, then you're ready to add the rub.
Okay, so the rub. There's not a whole lot in the rub, but the rub's amazing. Very basic, but also very, very, very tasty. So, paprika, brown sugar, black pepper, salt. I prefer to use a sea salt or a kosher salt, something a little thicker than table salt. That's more of a preference. I'm not sure if there's food science to that, but that's what I like to do. All right, so good, healthy. And I usually get started with a utensil. And then I use my hands. I go right to a sheet tray with it. There's always a mess. There's still going to be a mess on the counter when I'm done, but there's a lot less mess. I go right to a sheet tray. These sheet trays are the absolute best sheet trays. Swear by them. All right, so very, very, very well covered on both sides. And here we go. Oh, and as promised, mess on the counter. And that's the rub.
Now that the rub is on the pork, it's time to set up the fire. This grill table I built myself from scratch by hand. It gives me the opportunity to have both my Webers, one for smoking with wood and the other just for charcoal. This is going to be a with wood fire. I do use a chimney. That's what you're going to see in the next segment, smoking. Briquettes go on the top. Newspaper underneath. About a half hour, you've got a perfect fire. My preference in wood is a chunk rather than the little slivers. I also prefer an apple or a cherry wood. I always soak it longer than suggested, couple hours, so that way it doesn't burn. Once it's in place, 2 hours on the grill, do not disturb.
So this is the Cook's Quick recipe for barbecue sauce. It actually does start with barbecue sauce. The brand that I prefer and that actually was recommended by the cooks was Bullseye. In addition, goes into here apple cider vinegar, ketchup. There is molasses in here. There is brown mustard. I prefer a spicy brown mustard, onion, and garlic powder. And they give you the opportunity to boil it down. So you want it to thicken up. So what we do at this point in time is we give it a stir. Especially when you get those dry ingredients incorporated. It says to bring it up to a boil and then to reduce to medium, medium, low, and let it simmer. And I know that you cannot smell this, but it smells spectacular. spectacular.
All we're doing here is boiling it down until it's a nice, thick barbecue sauce consistency. Time to check the pork. Now that 2 hours has elapsed, you should see a nice crust developed top and bottom, and it's ready to come inside and to be prepped for the oven. 2 hours more in the oven. Roasting pan covered tightly with aluminum foil. You want to try to lock in as much moisture as you can. It's already gotten that smoke, that char. Now it's just time to go ahead and cook it through fully, but you want to, again, keep it as moist as possible. About 2 hours more in the oven. You know it's done when a fork slides in and out easily, and then you go to break it down. To break it down, all you're doing is shredding it. 2 forks splits it apart. I didn't record it, but it's very easy to do. This is a chunk of it. At the table this evening, we have pulled pork, sweet potato hash, and a mac and cheese casserole. I love this recipe. I hope you enjoyed the video.